Hello. Won't you join me for some sexy music to keep you between the sheets and to get you up after dark with your host, Nikki Lee.
Hello, and welcome to Ready for Love Radio and Sexy Music After Dark. This is your host and love coach, Nikki Lee. Now, since it's a holiday, I put a post on Facebook back about 2 months ago, and I asked people what TV shows they remembered that had people from the show, which characters, singing the theme song. And people came up with some that I remembered and quite a few that I didn't, and even a couple of shows I've never seen before. So I've got a great list to share with you tonight. I got some details about the shows you may or may not know. And believe it or not, we may or may not get through a list of about 24. So if we start running out of time, I'll just go ahead and just share the theme songs with you. And I'll share the details with you that we've got time for. So let's start with a show that everybody knows, pretty much. And you've either seen it the first time it aired or you've seen a rerun. And that's the Brady Bunch. In season 2, they started a new thing, and they had the Brady kids, or the people that played the Brady kids, took over singing the theme song. And they tried out a few versions. They had the boys sing part, the girls sing part, and all of them sing part. And they went back and forth in season 2, season 3, season 4, and season 5. And it seems like in season 5 they figured it out, and that's the one they stuck with. So I'm going to share that with you. The first season, the group that recorded the music, this is too cute, was called the Peppermint Trolley Company. And then after that, they just went back and the Paramount musicians recorded the music. But Peppermint Trolley was cute. I want to share that with you. So let's listen to the theme for the Brady Bunch. Oh, and I forgot to mention that Lisa is the one that suggested the Brady Bunch. So just about all of these are going to be suggested by people that are connected to me on Facebook. All right, now the next one is from Carol. And Carol suggested the Monkees. You may or may not know, the Monkees were on TV from 66 to 68. And the first song that was written and recorded to be used on the TV series was what they used a part of for the theme song. And that's the one I'm going to share with you. And you might not know that the Monkees didn't actually play on their early albums. So the only actual band member that appeared on songs would be their lead vocalist. And in that case, it was Mickey Dolenz. Let's listen to the theme song for Hey, Hey, It's the Monkees. Martha Neal suggested one that pretty much anybody that watched TV in the 70s has at least heard of. And this is something that this would never be aired on one of the big 3, ABC, CBS, NBCs. They wouldn't have the nerve these days. But in the early 70s, one of the biggest sitcoms on TV was All in the Family. And at the very beginning, the 2 lead actors were Carol O'Connor and Gene Stapleton, and they sang the theme song, which was Those Were the Days. So, and believe it or not, that song in 1971 actually entered the Billboard Top 100, entered it at number 73, and 7 weeks later, it peaked at number 43 for 1 week, stayed on the chart for 9 weeks, you're going to probably be a little surprised if you haven't heard this song before that it was on the Billboard Top 100, but it was. Let's listen to Archie and Edith Bunker sing Those Were the Days. Now, Pam suggested Give Me a Break. This was a sitcom that aired from 81 to 87. It was a sitcom that starred Nell Carter as a housekeeper, and I believe they were in D.C., but I could be wrong, Washington, D.C., but I could be wrong about that. And she was a housekeeper for a widowed police chief and his 3 daughters. Nell does a fantastic job with she sings the theme song. So let's listen to the theme song for Give Me a Break. Kathy suggested The Fresh Prince of BelAir by, of course, Will Smith. Now, the theme song and the opening sequence of this basically lays out the premise for the show. Will Smith is a street-smart teenager from West Philadelphia, born and raised, of course, and he's playing street basketball, and he misses a shot, and the ball hits a group of gang members, which causes a confrontation. His mother gets concerned about him and sends him off to live with his wealthy aunt and uncle that live in the very high-end and opulent neighborhood of BelAir, Los Angeles. Now, of course, let's just imagine you take a working-class kid from Philadelphia and you put them in BelAir. What could possibly go wrong? Yep, that's right. You definitely have a comedy on your hands. So he clashes in all kinds of humorous ways. Not to mention the fact that he's got a fascinating group of cousins, spoiled Hillary, pompous, and very uptight Carlton, and the very impressionable Ashley. And in season 3, we meet baby Nikki. Now, the show ran from September of 1990 to May of 96. This could change, but as of now, there is a dramatic reboot based on the fan film BelAir that is in development, and they have requested 2 seasons. Has been ordered for the Peacock Network. So we will see what happens with that and when it airs. So let's listen to the theme song sung by Will Smith for The Fresh Prince of BelAir. Okay, another one by Kathy, 21 Jump Street. This is a series that focuses on a group of police officers that, of course, have their headquarters at 21 Jump Street. Bet you guessed that, right? They're young officers. They all look very youthful, and that makes it perfect for them to go undercover as teenagers. And usually they work undercover at high schools. Usually they're investigating drug trafficking and abuse, and sometimes they cover issues like alcoholism, hate crimes, homophobia, AIDS, child abuse, sexual issues, and that sort of thing. And cast member Holly Robinson was the one that sang the theme song. So let's listen to the theme song for 21 Jump Street. This next one is about a stuntman and a bounty hunter, not Name Dog, and actually his truck was one of the characters in the show. If you've seen the show, you know exactly who and what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you're like, what? So, the show is The Fall Guy. It was suggested by Jeffrey. And the lead is played by Lee Majors, who also sang the song. He plays Colt Seavers, a Hollywood stuntman, and moonlights as a bounty hunter. And he uses his stuntman physical skills and stunt effects knowledge to fight crime and catch fugitives and criminals. And his cousin Howie, believe it or not Mandel Munson, goes with him and helps him, and his fellow stunt performer, who just happens to be a very pretty blonde named Jody, also works with him and with stunt work and also with bounty hunting. So let's listen to The Unknown Stuntman, sung by Lee Majors. If I remember right, he also happens to mention Farrah Fawcett in there somewhere. Okay, now Carey mentions the next one, and there was a film about a woman named Alice. She used to live in New Jersey, but her husband was killed in a trucking accident, and she decides to pick up and leave with her son Tommy, and their car breaks down, and so in Phoenix, and she gets a job, and that's where we pick her up. That may not sound familiar, but two things about this TV series that even if you've never seen it, you may have heard these two things. One is Mel's Diner, and the other is from the character Flo, and that's the phrase, "kiss my grits." Now, sorry, my accent wasn't quite right on that. But that in "kiss my grits" is just that's, she says that to everybody. Now, the show is Alice. The song is There's a New Girl in Town, and that's sung by the main character, Linda, and I think you pronounce it Levin, but I could be wrong about that. Now, that's the main premise of the story, and it's fascinating how every episode that I've ever seen of this show starts at the diner, and almost every scene happens in the diner, which is really good advertising for Mel, which there is a real Mel's Diner. But anyway, let's listen to Linda sing There's a New Girl in Town. Okay, Jennifer suggested that we take a look at or listen to the Partridge Family theme song. Now, you may or may not know, the Partridge Family is about a musical family that is headed by a widowed mother, played by Shirley Jones, and the oldest son is played by David Cassidy. Now, the TV show was on from 1970 to 1974, and it's fascinating because in every episode, pretty much, that I remember, you see the whole family singing, either practice or playing a gig somewhere. But in my research, I found that initially, the only character that was going to sing was Shirley Jones. But then, as things went on, they found out that David Cassidy can sing. Okay, and he can. So they were the only two characters that were, or cast members, that actually sang, and everybody else just lip sync. So just letting you know in case you didn't know that before, that's how that went. No matter what you see, they're the only ones that are really singing in the TV show. And I think anybody that grew up in the 70s, early 70s, and of course the girls that grew up in the 70s did know that David Cassidy can sing, and so could his brother Sean. So let's listen to the theme song for the Partridge Family, Come On, Get Happy, by David Cassidy. Okay, now Deborah suggested the Frasier theme song, Tossed Salad and Scrambled Eggs, sung by Kelsey Grammer. Now, I have wondered and wondered and wondered about tossed salad and scrambled eggs since the first time I ever heard this. And I finally have the answer. And I have a feeling there are other people that have probably wondered about what in the world that means. So I have to share it with you. According to the show's producers, the lyrics were chosen, Frasier's work and what he is for a living, and tossed salad and scrambled eggs are foods that are mixed up, just like Frasier's mixed up callers that sometimes call in and have the blues. And the fact that Frasier comes across as being confused at times, but he does help his callers through their, through his insights. And so he has them pegged, and they do keep calling with new problems. So that is the keywords in the song that relates to Frasier and the show and this symbolism and how it all relates back to the story. So I hope that answers the questions for you all and answers what the heck tossed salad and scrambled eggs means. So let's listen to Tossed Salad and Scrambled Eggs by Kelsey Grammer. Okay, Deborah also suggested several from Disney and Nickelodeon. So I'm just going to play all four of those, kind of a montage. First being Hannah Montana, Best of Both Worlds, sung by Miley Cyrus. That's So Raven, sung by Raven Simone. The Wizards of Waverly Place theme song by Selena Gomez. And Victoria's theme song, Make It Shine, featuring Victoria Justice. Now, Deborah suggested this one, and this is super short, but it's got such an interesting little story. I had to share it with you. She suggested the Drew Carey show. Drew Carey had 3 different theme songs. Season 1, he sang the song Moon Over Parma Tonight. Then they changed it to 5 O'Clock World for Season 2. Season 3, they sang Cleveland Rock. Let's listen to the very short, but the Drew Carey song, Moon Over Parma Tonight, and that's the first and the one that he sang. Here's Drew Carey. All right. Now, Reba McEntire. I have been looking for an excuse to have a Reba song, and I will do another one at some point. But the Reba show, the theme song sung by Reba, a sitcom starring Reba McEntire that aired from 2001 to 2006. And it was for 5 seasons on the WB. Then it moved over to the CW channel. And I like the show. I like Reba, and I have yet to find many songs. There's maybe 1 or 2 I'm not absolutely crazy about, but I just love Reba. So let's listen to the theme from the Reba song, sung by, shocking, Reba McEntire. All right, do you remember the show My Two Dads? I had totally forgotten that this was sung by one of the characters in the show, or one of the cast members. Now, remember, My Two Dads was the one where you had a 12-year-old young girl, and her mother had recently died, and what she did is when she died, she left her daughter to 2 men that had fought for her attention, and a judge was a fascinating character. The judge actually decided to give them joint custody, and they ended up all living together. And it was, talk about fascinating situations and humorous situations, especially since one was a financial advisor and one was a struggling artist. And the struggling artist, Greg Evigan, is the one who sings the theme song. I remember liking this show very much. It was very funny. Plus, I like Greg Evigan, too. So let's listen to the theme song from My Two Dads, You Can Count on Me, sung by Greg Evigan. Who remembers the show 227, set in an apartment building in Washington, D.C.? Seems like I said that earlier. The song is No Place Like Home, sung by Marla Gibbs. Marla played a housewife in an inner city apartment house, and it's an interesting group of people who live in this apartment building, including Jackie Harry. She was very colorful, very interesting neighbor in the building, and never knew what was going to be going on next in the building and who was going to stir something up. But it was always fun. But the show ran from 1985 to 1990, and like I said, always interesting. And it seemed like Marla's character, Mary Jenkins, that was her name, she was just about always sitting out on the stoop with Rose. Rose was the landlady. That's right. But you can always keep an eye on what's going on when you're sitting out on the stoop talking. But it was interesting. I enjoyed that show. But let's listen to No Place Like Home, sung by Marla Gibbs. This next song, it's interesting. It was on NBC for one season, and then they took it off. But it survived through syndication and later became the most television watched show in the world, with an estimated weekly audience of, are you ready? 1.1 billion viewers, despite negative critical reviews. And NBC canceled it after 1 year. I wonder what that could possibly be. I looked at that and I'm like, yeah, good job, NBC. So, no wonder CBS outdoes them all the time. And NBC used to be top of the heap, but yeah. And the show earned the reputation of being a pop culture phenomenon. Yeah, wonder why. It ran in its original title from 89 to 99, then from 99 to 2001 with a setting change and a cast overhaul. And do you have any idea what show we're talking about? I could give it to you with one clue. What if I said one of the stars was Pamela Anderson, and she wore a one-piece red bathing suit? Yep, I bet that did it. And this theme song is sung by David Hasselhoff. Did that do it? That's right, Baywatch. Let's listen to the theme song for Baywatch. For the next one, let's put things back on the ground. Well, on the ground may be stretching it a little bit. Now, what about two cousins? Okay, well, three. Two male, one female. One female who wears really short cut-off jean shorts that are kind of named after her. And they drive a red car, a 69 Dodge Charger, and they really like to drive fast through the back roads in the country, and sometimes drive in such a way that they kind of hit things just right so they go flying through the air, and they're on parole for moonshine running. Ring any bells for anybody? The show ran on CBS from 1979 to 1985. The theme song is sung by Waylon Jennings, who is the narrator of the show. The song is called The Good Old Boys, and the TV show is The Dukes of Hazzard. Let's listen to the theme song. Okay, now when I was a kid, this was one of my all-time favorite TV shows. And I did not catch this the first time because it actually started the year I was born, and I didn't see it that time. The original time these ran was from 65 to 71. So obviously I saw them all in reruns. But this is one of, even now, because I watch these on reruns on like my TV or MeTV. But I just adore this show. I really do. And as one of the characters would say, I just adore a penthouse view. Green Acres. This show is just so cute. I don't know why, but I just think it's cute. Green Acres, if you've never seen this show, stars Eddie Albert and Ava Gabor. And it's about a couple who live in a penthouse in New York City. He's a successful attorney. She is a Hungarian woman who loves living in New York City and all of the things that brings with it, and all of the comforts of home and the wonderful things that you have in a big city. And her husband decides that he's tired of the big city and he wants to own a farm in the country. Yeah. So, and he's talked about that ever since they got married, but she doesn't think he's ever going to do it. I mean, people talk about these things. Well, he decides to do it one day. And to say that it's a humorous situation is an understatement. But, yeah, it's fascinating. It's just, I mean, it's funny. It's just funny. So I find it hilarious. And they sing, and he sings about how thrilled he is to be in the country, and she sings about how much she loves being in the city, and it's just I find it hilarious. And I will actually try to find one of the original shows and post that in the Sexy Music After Dark show page. I'm going to post all the videos for all of the theme songs in the Sexy Music After Dark Facebook page, so that you can take a look at all of those. But I will definitely see if I can't find. And I did find a montage of the first episode, which it's great. So I will put that in there, and it's done like a documentary kind of thing, and it's cute. It is cute, so I will put that there. But that's at Facebook.com/Sexy Music After Dark, I believe. But you should check it out. If you've never seen it, it's funny. And you know what? Who of us do not need more humor? So enjoy the theme song from Green Acres. All right, Living Single. And the theme song is sung by Queen Latifah. Living Single actually is a sitcom that was created and originally aired in August of 1993, and it ran through January of 1998 on Fox. And it's centered around the lives of 6 friends that shared personal and professional experiences, and they all lived in a Brooklyn brownstone. And if I remember right, one of their friends actually lived in a different building. I think she was close, but she didn't live in that building. Queen Latifah and Kim Coles were the 2 main people that were in it. Interesting thing, though, is this show came out before Friends came out. And there are comments and rumors and references that it was the inspiration for Friends. And, but Friends got a whole lot more promotion than it did. But Living Single actually was one of the top Fox shows almost immediately, and did very, very, very well. It says throughout its run, it was one of the most popular African-American sitcoms of its era, ranked among the top 5 African American ratings for all 5 seasons it was on, and it got great comments from critics. It's a good show. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I discovered it years later, but it was very good. So you should check it out. So let's listen to the theme song for Living Single by Queen Latifah. All right, and finally, how about Walker, Texas Ranger, and the theme song sung by Chuck Norris. And I think the name kind of tells you. Chuck Norris plays a Texas Ranger. It was actually based on a film, Lone Wolf McQuade, and so you got both of them where it's based on someone from the Texas Ranger division. The show aired for years and did very well. I think it was 8 years, 93 to 2001, and it was on CBS. Did very well while it was on, and I think there were actually even a couple of movies that were done. And like I said, let's listen to the Walker, Texas Ranger theme song sung by Chuck Norris. I hope that you all enjoyed our journey through all of those TV theme songs, and I feel like we just traveled through the 70s and 80s and part of the 90s just now. But it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun researching those and shows I hadn't thought about in years. But definitely check out the Sexy Music After Dark page, because like I said, I've posted all the videos, and if you're listening to this on the archive site, definitely go back there and you can see all of the videos and hear all the songs, and you'll see all the fun that the theme songs are, and the opening credits for the shows and all that, and actually opening and closing credits to some of them. So I hope you had a lot of fun. And remember, Christmas, the week of Christmas and the week of New Year's, I'll be doing shows, both of those music shows, both of those weeks. So I will be with you next time on Ready for Love Radio.